Stuart, just a quick review of Halifax, a hugely pleasing performance, but unfortunately not a win to go with it.
Yeah, really pleasing. I think we've dominated the game and controlled it. Frustrating that we conceded so early on because it gave them something to hold on to, but the second half performance, I think we've created so many chances. I think we had 50 odd crosses and 29 shots, so the stats were hugely in our favour. Probably needed to be a little bit more ruthless, but the ball didn't quite fall, and you've got to give credit to the way they defended their box and also their goalkeeper. He made some incredible saves, so yeah, really pleasing performance.
I guess with the amount we had the ball in the final third, on another day we win that game quite comfortably.
I think we've created enough chances to probably win 2 or 3 games within that game. So look, it's really pleasing, but there's stuff that we need to improve on. We need to make sure that we get our lock-in right to stop counter-attacks. In the first half, they probably had 2 or 3 counters that they potentially could have hurt us from, so we know where we need to improve, but the lads performed to a very high level, and it's 2 points dropped. When you come away and you assess it, sometimes after the game emotionally you can say that it's 2 points dropped, but when you actually watch it back and analyse it, I believe it's 2 points dropped. But also on the flip side, it would have been heartbreaking if we'd have come away with nothing. So it's a huge credit to our group. They keep going all the way to the end, and I believe we should have won it with Kitchen's goal. When we watch it back, it's not offside, but look, a little bit frustrating, but look, it breeds confidence and it keeps us going.
In terms of injuries in Team New Zealand, how is everyone looking ahead of this weekend?
Ash Palmer's going to be out for around 3 months. We're hoping that he doesn't need an op, but he'll be out for about 3 months. So it's a little bit frustrating because he's performing so well. So it's one of those things. It happens in football. We have to deal with it. Other than that, everyone's back and ready to go.
A unique kind of game this weekend, obviously playing a team that's 2 divisions higher. For a team like ourselves that likes to play a lot with the ball, how could that kind of fare playing a team obviously from League One?
They're a team as well that want to have the ball and they want to dominate with the ball, and have got a lot of talent within their squad, so we've got to make sure that at the top end of the pitch that we get our press right. If we get our press right, then it gives us a chance to have periods with the ball. But look, we have our game plan. We need to go in, we need to try and execute that to the best of our ability, and I believe the lads have taken on the detail ever so well since we've been here and executed the game plan. So I believe that going into the weekend we're confident that the lads can execute the game plan.
Cliche to say, but you've worked closely with one of their main target mans in Dave McGoldrick at Notts County. For a player of that calibre, just how key will our defensive back line be to keeping him quiet on Saturday afternoon?
He's a top player, and I've experienced it firsthand. He can win games out of absolutely nothing, and he has that ability. So we need to make sure, we need to be mindful of that, and that's what I said in the turnover of the ball and on counters. We need to make sure that we're very good on that, and if we can be good on that, we can stop potentially the likes of David McGoldrick getting around our box and hurting us.
In pre-season, we obviously faced Barnsley here at the LNAR in July, I think it was. Have you had a chance to look back at that game and kind of weigh up how a York-Barnsley fixture might look this weekend? Yeah,
I've watched it back in great detail, and it's very hard. Pre-season, there's changes made after 45 minutes, and the tempo of the game's not to that, and there's not anything riding on it like getting through in the cup or points on the board. So when that happens, the games become a bit more tense and a bit more intensity. So we're expecting a totally different game to what you experienced in pre-season, and we know it's going to be a really tough test. They're a top team that, for me, they're competing to try and be in the top end of League One.
They started the season strongly in League One. I've just dipped off ever so recently, had a slight dip in form. Do you think that might maybe play on their minds this weekend coming up against a team obviously like ourselves, 2 divisions lower, or do you think it's just business as usual for them?
I think it'll be business as usual. I've watched a lot of their games back now, and their recent games now, they've been unfortunate in the games that they've lost and dropped points in. I think they've played very well in them, and they've had big moments where they could go ahead within those games, and goals change games, so it could be a totally different outcome. They started the season incredibly well. I watched them live at AFC Wimbledon, and I think they're a very good team.
Just want to touch briefly on the under-19s. They made it through to the second round of the FA Youth Cup this week. How pleasing is it to see the academy thrive in itself, and how could that fare, especially weighing towards the men's team as well? Yeah,
it's brilliant, and it's a great win, 4-2. And look, I hope they get a big draw now in the next round. We've had the academy lads training with us fairly regularly recently, which has been good, and they've stepped up to the plate, and they've got some real talent in the academy.
And just back to ourselves for this weekend, how key is it just ultimately go out there and enjoy it and relish the opportunity we've got?
Look, we'll go there with a game plan. We're looking forward to it. We've got to make sure that we're on our game. We can't afford to start slowly like we did at Halifax on Saturday. We need to make sure that we start the game fast and play in the tempo that we want to play at. But I do believe this weekend that the fans are going to have a huge part to play, and if we can get to that away end and get close to that 3,000, I think it's going to be huge. The 12th man's going to be massive for us to give us a real opportunity this weekend.
Just kind of wade into the next question, just for the supporters, obviously as we're recording, roughly 2,400 sold so far, that obviously likely to rise. What message would you give to them, and what message would you give to the supporters thinking of coming this weekend?
I think the fans, since I've come into the building, have been incredible. I think it's my first experience of a Yorkshire derby away at Halifax, and the atmosphere was incredible. Every time we attacked, they kind of sucked the ball into the goal, and not quite enough. We had enough chances, but they were incredible, and we're going to need them this weekend. And if we can get to that 3,000 mark, I think it'll be unbelievable.
Thanks for your time, Stuart.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.